2025 Sexiest Man Alive and a scandal over streams. One story is crown-worthy, the other is lawsuit-worthy. Let's unpack both and dive in. I'm Pop Culture Chris, bringing you your daily pop culture fix. Let's dive into today's story. Jonathan Bailey is the first openly gay man to be named Sexiest Man Alive by People magazine. And I say openly because if you look back on everyone who's appeared on the cover, one of them's got to be a closet case. You know what I mean? He has been acting for a very long time, but he became most prominent in recent years from obviously Bridgerton and then also Wicked. And the second Wicked comes out this month. Like, I'm sure this is part of the press tour. But what I love about it is that we really never had an openly gay person win this. And I think that just signals that, there was this age-old myth that if you were openly gay in Hollywood, people would not follow you, they wouldn't support you, they wouldn't go and see your movies because, if they can't believe you or they can't fancy you or feel like there's a chance with you, then they're not going to pay money to go and see you. And I think Jonathan Bailey is a perfect example of why that is not true, right? Like, he was in the Jurassic World movie recently, which wasn't that great, but he was a highlight of it. And he's really stepped into this like leading man status. And I love that he is so open, right? Like, he isn't trying to be anyone else but himself. You watch him in his interviews, he just seems like the nicest guy, funny, charismatic. I mean, all his female co-stars always are like swooning over him. I think it's also funny because it's like, who gets to be sexy, right? Like, there's been a lot of talk about whether the sexiest man alive, like whether it truly is a thing, because a lot of the people that have been on the cover, there's been some controversy. Like, I remember the year that Blake Shelton won and everyone was like, what? So again, I don't put too much weight on what this title means, but I do think, as I say, a gay actor being crowned this year, it's got to be a step in the right direction, right? And just also proving to Hollywood that, like, those old school mentalities, they're gone. Like, we don't need to follow those rules anymore. Do you agree that Jonathan should have been the sexiest man alive? And if not, why? And who else do you think should have been instead? Okay, so the reviews for Ryan Murphy's new show, All's Fair, which is coming out on Hulu today, the reviews are in, and this one from the Times, I just think, is perfect. It says, All's Fair. This may be the worst TV drama ever. That is a big statement. And as I scroll down as well, look, 0 stars. 0 stars. I haven't watched the show yet, and to be honest, judging by the reviews, I probably won't. I also am not a huge fan of Ryan Murphy anyway. I think with Ryan Murphy, like, he manages to assemble a really great cast, right? He always has the most incredible female actors in his shows, but the storylines and the endings, like, it's always squandered. There's so much potential and it never, ever reaches the potential. Like, I stopped watching American Horror Story like 3 seasons in because I just was so frustrated with how it just wasn't living up to what it could be. I think a lot of people agree that with Ryan Murphy shows, they usually start pretty good and by the end are unwatchable. I didn't watch the Ed Gein story because I just am not that interested in serial killers and like the glamification or glorification of them. But again, I heard that, right? Like, from all the reviews, that just, it started quite strong, but was slow, meandered, and there was no real like payoff at the end. Particularly Kim Kardashian has been slated, and I didn't watch Delicate, so I don't know what she was like in that. I did see clips online though. I wouldn't say that she is the worst actress ever, right? Like, there's definitely been worse ones, but she definitely came across as wooden and just unnatural. And like, she's had a lot of work done to her face, allegedly. I can't believe we have to say that. But she just doesn't emote much. Like, her voice, it doesn't have a lot of emotions to it. Her voice just is quite bland and monotone, and the fact that she can't really move her face fully, like, this is not someone who we should be giving lead roles to. But Listen, it's the way the industry has gone, and we just have to put up with it. But I think the way that we can kind of combat this is by not watching these shows, like not watching bad shit, so that they realize that they have to make good shit. But alas, I feel like this will probably still have an audience. People will watch it regardless, especially if you're like a Kim K fan, and we'll probably end up getting 5 seasons of it. Okay, so Drake has been accused of earning billions of fraudulent streams in a class action lawsuit against Spotify. This is juicy. Okay, so rapper RBX, who is actually Snoop Dogg's cousin, he's brought this lawsuit against Spotify. He says that Spotify is all too happy to turn a blind eye to massive streaming fraud that takes place on the platform, which in turn siphons off royalties from other artists. Drake, who isn't named as a defendant in the complaint, is the only artist named in the suit. RBX alleges that between January 2022 and September 2025, a huge portion of Drake's streams, almost 37 billion, is that? Yeah, 37 streams on Spotify. He claims a huge portion of them were inauthentic and usually from bot accounts. So what's interesting about this is that Spotify pays out artists in a pro rata model where all of the streams on the platform are compiled together and royalties get doled out based on an artist's percentage of the overall streaming marketplace. So if someone is using bots to like raise their own streaming numbers, that means that they are taking a bigger piece of the pie from the royalties, right? Because they're gonna dish it out on who has the most streams. But if like half of those streams are fraudulent, that's money you're basically stealing from other people's pockets, right? And a lot of smaller artists, they are not earning livable money from Spotify. Even if you get like 1 million streams a month, you can't live off that. That's why artists are constantly touring and doing tons of other stuff to make money. A really interesting part of the suit says to satisfy constant pressure from shareholders to grow the business and increase stock prices, Spotify needs an ever expanding population of users to engage on its platform. The suit reads, the more users, including fake users, that Spotify has, the more advertisements it can sell, the more profits the company can report, all of which serves to increase the purported value determined to shareholders. So it's all a big scam. I think if you look at any business, so many businesses are inflating what they're doing so that they can obviously be more profitable or, charge more money, whatever it might be. And if everyone's doing that, who's right? Right? Like, I do think that because we rely so much on data and algorithms and everything like that to kind of report everything now, I don't know if there really is a way that we'll ever find out, but I do think that, the way that things have gone with the streaming, downloads, all of that, we really are setting ourselves up that the music industry could be like worse than soon. I think what's funny about this is that Drake himself accused Universal Music Group of engaging in streaming fraud with Spotify and other platforms to artificially boost Kendrick Lamar's diss track, Not Like Us, in a defamation suit that he has against the label. And it's just funny to me that it's always that way, right? Like people often project what they're doing themselves. And so, if Drake was doing this or his team, whatever, it's just funny to me that he's also then trying to sue someone for allegedly the same thing. Anyway, I'm sure this is going to get very messy, and I'm down to follow it. I want to know what happens. What do you think? Like, do you think that these Spotify numbers are real, or do you think that like artists are definitely inflating their numbers and the platforms themselves? And finally, spokesperson and sometimes actress Sydney Sweeney finally breaks her silence on the American Eagle jeans uproar. She said, I did a jean ad, Sweeney told GQ. I mean, the reaction definitely was a surprise, but I love jeans. All I wear are jeans. I'm literally in jeans and a t-shirt every day of my life. Dull. She added that it was surreal to have so many people like the president sounding off. I kind of just put my phone away, she said. I was filming every day. I'm filming Euphoria. So I'm working 16-hour days and I don't really bring my phone on set. So I work and then I go home and I go to sleep. So I didn't really see a lot of it. I doubt that, right? Like her publicist was probably like speaking to her every single day. It's funny because, a lot of the bites that we get from celebrities, like, it's so rehearsed and, they just want to downplay everything that's maybe negative. And I just don't buy that for a minute. I think that whether she was on her phone a lot or not, like, she knew everything about it, I'm sure. So this just feels disingenuous to me. I knew at the end of the day what that ad was for, and it was great jeans. It didn't affect me one way or the other. Easy for her to say. Sweeney noted that she didn't issue a statement responding to the criticism at the time because I've always believed that I'm not here to tell people what to think. When I have an issue that I want to speak about, people will hear. So she is very much like dismissing it all, right? I don't understand where this criticism's come from. I really had nothing to do with it. I haven't even paid attention. It's like a get out of jail free card, right? Like it's just a very easy way for her to dismiss all of this and never really address it, because even though they're asking her about it, she's not saying anything actually about it. She's just circling around the topic. The ads went on to generate 40 billion impressions and made a meaningful improvement to the business, with the company's stock jumping 25%. Sydney went on to reveal that I was aware of the numbers as it was going, and she said, so when I saw all the headlines claiming in-store visits were down a certain percentage, none of it was true. It was all up, but nobody could say anything because the company was in their quiet period. So what is it, Sydney? Were you aware of what was going on? Or you weren't aware of what was going on because knowing that the numbers were going up sounds like you were heavily involved in the campaign. What do you think? Do you think Sydney is playing dumb? Do you think she knows more about this? Do you think she has an opinion on it? Or do you think she's just off in her own world with Scooter Braun? That's it for today. Please like the video and leave a comment and let me know what you think of the stories. What's your opinion? Is there anything that you want me to talk about? And please subscribe for daily pop culture news. I'm Pop Culture Chris, and this is your daily pop culture fix. I'll see you tomorrow.